Today we are going to solve multiple choice questions on indefinite integration. Okay, so we will start with our first question. Integral of 1 plus x plus root of x plus x raised to 2 upon root of x plus root of 1 plus x dx is equal to option A 1 by 2 root x plus 1 plus c, option B 2 by 3 x plus 1 raised to 3 by 2 plus c, option C root of x plus 1 plus c, and option D 2 into x plus 1 raised to 3 by 2 plus c. As usual, we will start our solution by writing down the given integral. Let us call it I. So it is integral of 1 plus x plus root of x plus x squared divided by root of x plus root of 1 plus x. Now the next step that you should do is write the terms 1 plus x as root of 1 plus x squared. Okay, that is what I have done here. And then from the second term, or from the third term in the numerator, that is root of x plus x raised to 2, I have taken root of x common, okay, from both the terms, so that I could write it as root of x into root of 1 plus x. I have kept the denominator as it is in the first step. In the second step, this one, I have taken root of 1 plus x common from both the terms in the numerator, which sits here. Denominator will not change. Let's now talk about the numerator of this bracket. The first term in the numerator was root of 1 plus x raised to 2. Out of the two root of 1 plus x terms, one has already been taken common, so second term will sit here, plus here we had root of x into root of 1 plus x, but root of 1 plus x has already been taken common, so only root of x. We can now cancel these two terms because they are identical, root x plus root of 1 plus x. So then the integrand reduces to root of 1 plus x. Then use x raised to n formula, and because x plus 1 is a linear function with coefficient of x equal to 1, the same formula will be applicable to x plus 1, which is x raised to n plus 1 upon n plus 1 plus c, and in our case the value of n is going to be 1 upon 2 because it is square root. So it will be 2 into x plus 1 raised to 3 by 2 upon 3 plus c, and that is option B. 2 upon 3 x plus 1 raised to 3 by 2 plus c. Now the feature of, or the special case about this problem is that here the factor that is common to both numerator and the denominator is root of x plus root of 1 plus x. Okay, so if you do not realize that you have to take this common, then you will keep struggling between the methods of integration. You will try to solve it by substitution, you will try to solve it by parts, but that is not required. Okay, second thing, here the factor that got cancelled, root of x plus root of 1 plus x, instead of this factor there can be any other factor also. Okay, so based on the same concept, which is integral of f of x into g of x upon g of x dx, you can come up with any number of problems. Okay, if you write f of x into g of x in the numerator in a more complicated form such as this one, then the first step is not going to be the integration step, but the step is going to be that of simplification. And in integration you will often find this. The actual integral in its simplest form is not very difficult to obtain. basically application of simple formulas, but it is the simplification process in the entire solution which takes practice, and also it requires you to think according to the functions that are present in the problem. Okay, so done with the first, let's go to the second. Question 2. Integral of 1 upon x plus x raised to 5 dx is f of x plus c. Then integral of x raised to 4 upon x plus x raised to 5 dx is equal to option A log of x minus f of x plus c, option B f of x plus log of x plus c, option C f of x minus log of x plus c, and option D 1 upon 5 into x raised to 5 f of x plus c. I'm going to tell you two methods to solve this problem. Let us start with the first method. The integral that we have been given is integral 1 upon x plus x raised to 5 dx, and we are calling it f of x. Okay, let's call it I1. So in simplifying I1, what I did is as follows. I first took x common from the terms in the denominator, and then I multiplied and divided by x cube. So 1 in the numerator is now x cube, and this x term in the denominator, after multiplying it by x cube, will become x raised to 4. Okay, then I substituted for x raised to 4 as t, so 4x cubed dx would be dt, so x cubed dx would be 1 upon 4 dt. Okay, therefore x cube dx is now 1 upon 4 dt, and then x raised to 4 into 1 plus x raised to 4 will be t into 1 plus t. So a partial fractions problem. Yes. Let us now go to I2. In I2, again take x common from the numerator and x common from the denominator. Okay, so x raised to 4 will be x into x cube, and x plus x raised to 5 will be x into 1 plus x raised to 4. Cancel x, you'll end up with the integrand 1 upon 4 into, well, you will end up getting the integral 1 upon 4 into integral of 1 upon 1 plus t dt. So same substitution, x raised to 4 equal to t for I2 as well. Okay, now if you solve I1 and I2 with the help of partial fractions, first job will be splitting the given integrand in I1 into partial fractions, that is finding the coefficients a and b. Okay, I have done that here. A has turned out to be 1 and b has turned out to be -1. Okay, so what I have done is I have written this fraction 1 upon t into t plus 1 as a upon t plus b upon t plus 1. Here we have linear non-repeated factors, so we can use the shortcut. If you use it, the values of the coefficients a and b will turn out to be 1 and -1. Do not forget this 1 upon 4. Okay, then simple integration, 1 upon t is integral log t, 1 upon t plus 1 is integral log of t plus 1, and because it has a negative sign, by using the laws of indices, it will be, or logarithms, it will be log of x raised to 4 upon x raised to 4 plus 1 plus c1, the constant of integration. Then I2 is much easier to obtain. It is this integral here. So 1 upon 4 will be as it is, integral of 1 upon 1 plus t would be log of 1 plus t. Replace t by x raised to 4. So I2 will be this one. Now we have to relate I1 and I2, right? Because I2 has been asked in terms of I1. It is given in the problem that I1 is equal to f of x plus c1. So now we have found out f of x. And f of x is 1 upon 4 log of x raised to 4 minus 1 upon 4 log of x raised to 4 plus 1. Okay. So f of x plus c1 will now be equal to log of x. Now how did log of x come? Here we have used the following law of logarithms, that log of x raised to n is n into log of x, with n equal to 4. So if n is equal to 4, log of x raised to 4 will become 4 log of x, and that 4 will cancel this 4, so that is merely log of x. Okay, minus. Now what about this integral? 1 by 4 into log of x raised to 4 plus 1. Is this I2? Yes, this is I2. We will not care about the arbitrary constants now, because addition of arbitrary constants is a new arbitrary constant. Okay, so on the LHS we have f of x plus c1, and on the RHS we have log of x minus I2 minus c2 plus c1, but that is fine. So what is f of x now? F of x is equal to log of x minus I2 minus, let's call it c2 dash, the arbitrary constant, but we want I2. So shift I2 to the left hand side. It will become positive. Send f of x to the other side, it will become negative. So I2 is going to be log of x minus f of x minus c2 dash. So I2 is log of x minus f of x plus some arbitrary constant, and that is option A. Let's check. Yes, this integral was asked, we called it I2, and it turned out to be log of x minus f of x plus c. So this is option A. Now the question is, was it necessary to actually obtain both these integrals? The answer is no. Okay, so you can actually skip, and you should skip NCET. You should skip evaluating both the integrals separately and then finding the relation between them, because of the time constraint that you have in such entrance examinations. Okay, so instead of that, we can directly find the relation between them. Now I will tell you how to find it directly without evaluating both integrals individually. Okay, so this is the second method to evaluate the same integral, method 2. Okay, so here we make the observation that the denominator of the first integrand and denominator of the second integrand, both of them are identical, and both of them are equal to x plus x raised to 5. Okay, here I am calling the second integral as I. First integral is already, or has already been expressed in terms of f of x. Okay, so now we are going to add both these integrals. Now observe carefully. F of x is the unknown function. In the first method we actually computed this. Okay, but now we will see that it is not necessary to actually mark the correct option. Okay, so f of x plus c plus I, this is the integral that we want. Okay, equal to, this is the first one, integral 1 upon x plus x raised to 5 dx. This is the second one, integral x raised to 4 upon x plus x raised to 5 dx. So what will happen if you add? We have these properties of integrals, and one of those properties is this one, integral of f of x plus or minus g of x dx is equal to integral of f of x dx plus or minus integral of g of x dx. So now we are making use of this property here. We are adding these two integrands now. Okay, so numerator will be 1 plus x raised to 4. Denominator is same, so x plus x raised to 5. Take x common from the denominator and then finally cancel 1 plus x raised to 4, 1 plus x raised to 4. So you get 1 upon x, and integral of 1 upon x is log of x plus c. So without actually calculating both integrals separately, we directly got the relation between them. So what's the conclusion? We started with f of x plus I, the addition of these two integrals, and it has turned out to be log of x plus c dash, or the constant of integration. So we want I in terms of f of x. So to get I, simply shift f of x to the other side, which will then acquire a negative sign. So our final answer is going to be I equal to log of mod of x, or log of x, minus f of x plus c. So option A, this was the same integral or same function that we obtained by the first method. I will recommend you to solve this problem by the second method, okay, because this has taken us less amount of time, simply because we have not evaluated both integrals separately. Okay, we observed that denominators were same and both of them had that factor in common, which was the combined numerator, and that factor was 1 plus x to the power 4. Okay, so recommended method is the second one. Okay, so in that second method we skipped the first step, correct? Let us now go to the third example. Very simple. Question 3. Integral of log of 3x upon x into log of 9x dx is equal to option A, log of 3x minus log of 9x plus c. Option B, log of x minus log of 3 into log of 9x plus c. Option C, log of 9 minus log of x into log of 3x plus c. And option D, log of x plus log of 3 into log of 9x plus c. You observe that in the integrand, x is present in the denominator, which is the derivative of log x, okay, 1 upon x. So you will opt for the substitution log of x as t. 1 upon x dx will then become dt. Okay, then you write down the given integral as it is, but this time you use the property of logarithms, that log of a into b is log of a plus log of b, and the other property is log of a squared is 2 log of a. Okay, so using these two properties here, the numerator will become log 3 plus log x, and the denominator will become 2 log 3 plus log x. Okay, so 2 log 3 plus log x is the representation of the term log of 9x. 9 is 3 raised to 2, so there you use this property. Then don't forget this x, which sits in the denominator here. Because we have chosen log x as our substituted variable, let's write 1 upon x with dx. Okay, then let log x be t, so the integral will transform to t plus log 3 upon t plus 2 log of 3. Then let us go to this step. In this step, I have added and subtracted log of 3 from the numerator. I did that because in the denominator I observed 2 log 3, but in the numerator we had only log 3. So if you do that, first term will be t plus 2 log 3 upon t plus 2 log 3. So eventually you will get 1, whose integral will be t. Then let's not forget this negative sign. Log of 3 is a constant, keep it as it is. Denominator is t plus 2 log 3. So this is just like 1 upon x plus a. Okay, whose integral is log of x plus a So no matter what a is, the integral is always going to be log of x plus that. So in this case, t plus 2 log of 3. Let us go back to our substitution because we have completed the integration process. So it is now our job to replace t by log of x. So t will be log x minus log 3 as it is into log of, again t plus 2 log 3, t is log of x, and log of x plus 2 log of 3 is going to be log of 9x. Okay, this is what we did here in the very first step. Log of x plus 2 log of 3 was the simplified version of log of 9x. So now we are using it in the other way. So log of 9x can be written as 2 log of 3 plus log of x. Okay, so this is our final answer. Let us check whether it is there in the options. Log of x minus log of 3 into log of log 9x. Log of x minus log 3 into log of log 9x. So here we have a composite function. Outer function is log and the inner function is also logarithmic. Alright. So that completes third question. Let's go to fourth. This is also a simple example. Question 4. Integral of sin x raised to m upon cos x raised to m plus 2 dx is equal to. Option A, tan x raised to m plus 1 upon m plus 1 plus c. Option B, m plus 2 into tan x raised to m plus 1 plus c. Option C, tan x raised to m upon m plus c. And option D, m plus 1 into tan of x raised to m plus 1 plus c. First step, as usual, write down the given integral. Okay, now the presence of tan in all four options is an indicator that you might be required to substitute tan of x as t. Okay, then if tan of x is equal to t, you must have sec squared x dx as dt. And what is sec squared x? 1 upon cos squared x. Okay. Yes. Now the other indicator is the power in the denominator, or the power of cos x in the denominator is m plus 2, whereas the power of sin in the numerator is simply m. So we have two additional powers of cos in the denominator, and you can make use of those additional powers, okay, for the substitution. So that is what you can see I have done in this second step. First, I wrote cos of x raised to m plus 2 as cos of x raised to m into cos squared x. Okay, then sin upon cos was tan into sec squared x. Then substitute for tan x as t. Then this will be t raised to m. So the integral will be t raised to m plus 1 upon m plus 1. Replace t by tan of x. So tan x raised to m plus 1 upon m plus 1 plus c. Do we have that in our options? Yes, that is option A. So correct option is A. So in this solution, what I have done is I have not written this part. Okay. And even in the entrance examinations, you should avoid writing down each and everything in your rough work. Okay, this was a standard substitution problem. You can see it here in this integrand. If you substitute tan x as t, sec squared x dx is going to be your dt, and then the problem is going to reduce to integral t raised to m dt, which you can easily solve. So do not spend time in writing these three steps, 1, 2, 3. Okay, just directly go for the directly go to the answer. Go for it. You will get option A as the correct option in this case. Now, if you want to talk about this problem in great detail, then this formula will be applicable, or this solution, only when m is not equal to -1. very similar to this formula. This formula is not applicable when m is equal to -1. In that case, it becomes log of x or log of t in this case, isn't it? So, if you wish to talk about this integral when m is equal to 1, then you have to proceed as follows. If m is equal to -1, then the integral gets simplified to 1 upon sin x into 1 upon cos x. Now, how did this occur? The integral was sin x raised to m upon cos x raised to m plus 2. Alright, here m is -1. Let me tell you that this doesn't mean that numerator becomes sin inverse of x. Okay, it is still sin x and then you are taking its reciprocal. So 1 upon sin will be here. Then let us go to the denominator, which is cos of x raised to m plus 2. If m is -1, m plus 2 will be 1. So cos x will sit in the denominator. Multiply and divide by 2, or multiply by 2 by 2. So numerator will be 2, denominator will be 2 sin x cos x or sin 2x, double angle formula. 1 upon sin 2x is cosec 2x. Use integration formula for cosec theta or cosec x. Keep 2 as it is. Integral of cosec x is minus log of cosec plus cot. Okay, but do not forget that instead of x we have 2x here, so that 2 will come here in the denominator. Cancel 2. Eventually you will get negative log mod of cosec 2x plus cot 2x plus c. This is applicable only when m is equal to 1. -1, sorry, negative. Okay, alternately you can go back to our example and in this step, which contains 2 stars, if you write m as -1, it will just be integral of sec squared x upon tan x, just like 1 upon t's integral. Okay, so that is going to be log t. So this integral can also be written as log of mod of tan of x plus c, again by the substitution tan of x equal to t. Now you may ask, are these two functions identical? Are they same? Yes, they are same. Okay, you can use any plotter software to verify that the graphs of these two functions actually overlap. Okay, and see, this is where integration problems differ from the differentiation problems, especially multiple choice questions. Okay, if you opt for this simple method and get the answer as log of mod of tan x plus c, and if you do not see this in the options, you will think that either the question is wrong or your answer is wrong. Okay, but in both situations are not right. It's just that the integral has been evaluated in a slightly different format. Okay, so if you see this as the option, negative log of mod of cosec 2x plus cot 2x plus c, then you should mark it, and you should be able to establish the equivalence between this representation of the integral and this representation of the integral, and again this will come only through practice. Okay, all right, so we have completed this. Let's go to the next question, that is question 5. Question 5, integral tan of sin inverse of x dx is equal to, option A 1 minus x squared raised to negative 1 upon 2 plus c, option B 1 minus x squared raised to 1 upon 2 plus c, option C tan x raised to m upon root of 1 minus x squared plus c, and option D is negative root of 1 minus x squared. So here the first observation that you should make is the integrand is a composite function with the outer function being tan and the inner function being sin inverse. Okay, now as we usually do with any composite function involving a trigonometric and an inverse trigonometric function, we try to express the inner function in terms of the inverse of the outer function in this case, right? So if it is sine inverse of x, if we could write it in terms of tan inverse of an appropriate expression in x, then our integral will get simplified a lot, the integral. Okay, and to do that I have drawn this right angle triangle. Let's call it PQR. Okay, and I'm calling this angle as alpha. From the figure or from the integrand's inner function, I can say that sine of alpha is equal to x, or x upon 1. Okay, now to express alpha in terms of tan of its inverse, okay, or to find the equivalent expression for tan alpha, we must construct the triangle and get the length of the adjacent side, which will turn out to be root of 1 minus x squared. Okay, this can be obtained by considering the property of right angle triangles, that square of the hypotenuse is equal to sum of squares of its sides. Okay, so PR is 1, so 1 squared, PQ squared is x squared, and we need to find QR squared, so that will be root of 1 minus x squared raised to 2. Okay, so once you get the length of QR, then you can express tan alpha in terms of x. Tan alpha will be the opposite side upon the adjacent side. So sine inverse of x, which is equal to alpha, is now tan inverse of x upon root of 1 minus x squared. And once we succeed in writing the inner function in terms of inverse tangent function, now our job is easier. Okay, so let us go back to the integrand and substitute sine inverse of x as tan inverse of x upon root of 1 minus x squared. Okay, so we will now have tan inverse of x upon root of 1 minus x squared. Okay, so the integral or the function which I have written in the green color, that is going to be our new integrand, correct? Because tan and tan inverse are inverse functions of each other. Okay, so the given integrand is now this one. Substitute for 1 minus x squared. Okay, because the variable part in the derivative of 1 minus x squared is present in the numerator. So negative 2x dx will be dt, x dx will be equal to negative dt upon 2. Therefore the integral is equal to integral of 1 upon root t, which is basically 1 upon root of 1 minus x squared, into negative 1 upon 2 dt, that is nothing but x dx. Okay, then integrate 1 upon root t, you will get 2 root t, cancel 2, negative sign as it is. So I is equal to negative 1 into root of t. Here again we have used the formula integral of x raised to n dx, and in our case n is equal to negative 1 upon 2. Okay, replace t as 1 minus x squared, that is the answer that you want, negative 1 into root of 1 minus x squared plus c, and that is option D. Let's go back to the MCQ and check. Yes, negative sign, root of 1 minus x squared plus c. So question 5, option D. Let's go to sixth one now. Okay, question 6 is integral of x minus sin x upon 1 minus cos x dx. Now here you observe that derivative of x minus sin x is 1 minus cos x, but unfortunately 1 minus cos x is present in the denominator and x minus sin x is present in the numerator. Okay, so you cannot apply the integration by substitution method. Second thing about this problem is that this has already come in one of the previous year's CET papers. Okay, so if you have watched the videos that I have shared, in especially the indefinite integration videos, then you will find the same example there. Okay, and there I have explained it in great detail. Why can we not use the integration by substitution although derivative of the function is present? Okay, here we are going to solve it once again. So let us start by reading the options. A is x cot x by 2 plus c. B is negative x cot x by 2 plus c. C is cot x by 2 plus c, and D is x into tan x by 2 plus c. As usual, start by writing down the given integral. Okay, integral of x minus sin x upon 1 minus cos x dx. Use half angle formulas for sin x and 1 minus cos x. Sin x will be 2 sin x by 2 cos x by 2, and 1 minus cos x will be 2 sin squared x by 2. Second step, split the numerator. Okay, first term will then be 1 by 2 into x into cosec squared x by 2, because we had 1 upon sin squared in the, well, we had 1 upon sin squared, so it can be written as cosec squared x by 2, minus, for the second term 2 will get cancelled, one of the sine terms will also get cancelled, so it will be cot of x by 2. Then integrate the first one by parts. Okay, LIATE, this is the preference. Algebraic functions should come first and then trigonometric, so our order is right, first x and then cosec squared. Keep 1 by 2x as our first function, so first function as it is, integral of the second function, which is negative cot of x by 2 into 2, this 2 has come because we have x by 2, minus integral of derivative of the first function, x by 2 is derivative 1 upon 2, into integral of the second function, same, negative cot of x by 2 into 2, minus, don't forget this one now, okay, cot of x by 2 plus cot of x by 2 dx plus c. Now we observe that negative into negative will be positive, 2 will get cancelled, so eventually these two things are getting cancelled. Which two? Integral of cot x by 2 and integral of minus cot x by 2. So if you can cancel them, your final answer is going to be negative x into cot of x by 2, because again you can cancel this 2 and this 2. Negative sign, don't forget that, x into cot of x by 2 plus c, and that is option B. Negative x cot of x by 2 plus c, option B. Let's go to 7th MCQ. Okay, another simple MCQ now. Question 7. If f of x is sine inverse of x upon root of 1 minus x squared, and g of x is e to the power sine inverse of x, then integral of f of x into g of x dx is equal to, option A, e to the power sine inverse of x into sine inverse of x minus 1 plus c, option B, e to the power sine inverse of x into 1 minus sine inverse of x plus c, option C, e to the power sine inverse of x into sine inverse of x plus 1 plus c, and D is e to the power sine inverse of x into sine inverse of x minus 1 plus c. So options A and D are identical. Might be some printing mistake, but anyways, okay. Let's write down the given integral, or the integral to be obtained, which is product of f of x into g of x's integral. Okay. Substitute for f of x, sine inverse of x upon root of 1 minus x squared, and substitute for g of x, which is e to the power sine inverse of x. Now I am introducing the substitution, sine inverse of x as t. So 1 upon root of 1 minus x squared dx will be equal to dt. We already have root of 1 minus x squared in the denominator, so that will be taken care of along with dx by the term dt. Okay, so it is integral t dt, suddenly an integration by parts problem. Again LIATE, exponential function have the least priority, so keep the order as it is, t into e raised to t. First function as it is, integral of second minus integral of derivative of the first function, 1 into integral of second, so it will again be only e raised to t plus c. Okay, can you take e raised to t common? Why not? So if you take it common, in the bracket you will have t minus 1 then plus c. But what was t equal to? T was equal to sine inverse of x. Yes, so it will be e to the power sine inverse of x into sine inverse of x minus 1 plus c. So either a or d. We already noted that these two options were identical. Let's now go to question 8. If integral of tan cubed x into sec cubed x dx is 1 upon m into sec x raised to m minus 1 upon n into sec x raised to n, then the ordered pair m comma n is equal to option A 5 3, option B 3 5, option C 1 by 5, 1 by 3, and option D 4 4. Okay, again you have to write down the integral in the first step, and then you have to take sec x tan x common from tan cubed x into sec cubed x. Okay, so if you take sec x tan x common, which is also the derivative of sec x, in the bracket you will have tan squared x into sec squared x. Now rewrite tan squared x as sec squared x minus 1. Okay, now these manipulations which we are doing, these manipulations are purely trigonometric. Okay, but we are doing them because we want to use the integration by substitution method. Okay, that's the reason I'm writing everything in the bracket in terms of sec x now. Okay, keep sec squared x as it is, write tan squared x as sec squared x minus 1, because 1 plus tan squared x is equal to sec squared x, one of the fundamental identities. Then simple, substitute for sec x as t. Okay, so sec x tan x dx will be dt. Yes, then what do we have in the bracket, in the green bracket? We have t squared minus 1 into t squared. Yes, so that will eventually be t to the power 4 minus t squared dt. Simply integrate them, t raised to 5 upon 5 minus t raised to 3 upon 3 plus c, again this formula. Alright, so now you may have observed that we have used integration only in the last step, and that too this formula, integral x raised to n dx, which is a very simple formula. So the main part in all integration problems, including this one, is the manipulation or the adjustment. Okay, here we took sec x tan x common, and then we wrote tan squared x as sec squared x minus 1, and after that, once it came in the form wherein we could substitute, then we brought in the substitution sec x equal to t. Okay, now there is no need to resubstitute t as sec x because we already have 5 and 3 in the denominators, right? So which option? Do not mark C. Okay, why? Because they have asked us the values of m and n. So if you mark 1 upon 5 and 1 upon 3, it would mean that m is actually 1 upon 5, so it is 5 into sec x raised to 5. But is that the case? No, that's not the case. So m is 5 and n is 3, so option A. Okay, That's it for 8th. Let's now go to 9th MCQ. Okay, question 9. Integral of 1 upon cos x minus cos squared x dx is equal to. Option A, log of cosec x minus cot x plus tan x by 2 plus c. Option B, sin 2x minus cos x plus c. Option C, log of sec x plus tan x minus cot of x by 2 plus c. And option D is cos of 2x minus sin of x. First, write down the given integral carefully. Then take cos x common from both the terms. So inside the bracket you will now have 1 minus cos x. Okay. Then multiply and divide by 1 plus cos x. Again, an important manipulation. Otherwise, the integrand will be very difficult to integrate. Okay. See now what this particular step gives is the numerator will now be 1 plus cos x. But now when you multiply 1 minus cos x by 1 plus cos x, you will end up getting 1 minus cos squared x. A plus b into a minus b is a squared minus b squared, but this is nothing but sin squared x. Okay, so you can see sin squared x appearing here. Then you have to write 1 in the numerator as cos squared x plus sin squared x, another important adjustment. Okay, we are doing all these adjustments for the sole purpose of writing the given integrand in that form such that we can either use the formulas or the methods such as substitution. Okay, so after this we have to split the numerator. Okay, it will be getting split into 3 terms. First one is cos squared x upon cos x into sin squared x, okay, which is cos upon sin squared. One of the cos terms will get cancelled. Okay, second is simply 1 upon cos x, because we have sin squared x here and sin squared x here, so cancel them, simply sec x. Then let's go to the third term, that is cos x upon cos x into sin squared x. Cos will get cancelled only for the third term now, so you will end up getting 1 upon sin squared x or cosec squared x. Now you can integrate. Okay, how? Cos upon sin squared x is nothing but cosec cot, and the integral of cosec cot is negative cosec, because the derivative of negative cosec x is cosec into cot. Okay, so negative 1 upon sin or negative cosec. Okay, integral of sec, you had it in the 12th standard, log of sec x plus tan x, and integral of cosec squared x is negative cot x. Okay, plus the constant of integration, so negative cosec x minus cot x plus log of sec x plus tan x. Okay, that is option C. Let's go back to the options. Now it is only option C that contains log of sec x plus tan x in it. So let's now check whether negative cot x by 2 is indeed negative cosec x minus cot x. Okay, again very simple. Write cosec x plus cot x as 1 plus cos x upon sin x. So basically write cosec and cot in terms of sin and cos. Okay, use half angle formulas. 1 plus cos x is 2 cos squared x by 2, sin x is 2 sin x by 2 cos x by 2, cancel cos, cot of x by 2. So the second term that we obtained in our integral is negative cosec x minus cot x, but we have now proved that it is equal to negative cot of x by 2. Negative cot of x by 2, so option C. Let us now go to the 10th problem. Question 10. integral root of cot x upon sin x into cos x dx. Option A 2 root cot x plus c. Option B negative 2 root cot x plus c. Option C 1 by 2 root cot x plus c, and option D root cot x plus c. Okay, so the benefit of reading the options every time is that it can actually help you in solving the problem. How? Here everywhere you have root of cot x. Okay, so the only difference among the options is that the coefficients of root cot x are different: 2, -2, 1 by 2 and 1. So what I have done is, instead of evaluating the integral, we can happily differentiate the function root of cot x, because differentiation is always a lot easier than the integration. Okay, so d by dx of root of cot x, again chain rule, outer function is root whose derivative is 1 upon 2 root. Okay, so 1 upon 2 root cot x into derivative of the inner function, which is cot, so negative cosec squared x. Okay, then what I have done is, I observed that the integrand's numerator contains root cot x, so I multiplied and divided by root cot. There. Okay, so numerator became root cot, but now the denominator is the denominator is root of cot x into root of cot x, so that will simply be cot x, product of this term and this term. Okay, then I kept negative sign in the numerator and I wrote sin squared x in the denominator, but that's fine, you can adjust cosec squared x according to the problem. Second, or the next step, keep root of cot x as it is. Okay, and rewrite cot x into sin squared x as sin into cos. How? Cot is cos upon sin, and here you have sin squared. Yes, so you can cancel one sign, that will be simply sin into cos. Now all these adjustments are being done because we want the integrand as the derivative of the function, okay, or some form of the integrand. Okay, now we observe that derivative of root of cot x is this function. Okay, let us call this function as f of x. Okay, so if derivative of root of cot x is f of x, then the integral of f of x with respect to x must be root of cot x. Yes. Okay, but the integrand which is given to us is only root cot x upon sin x into cos x, so shift -2 to the other side. Okay, so it is -2 into root of cot x, so we have got the integrand without actually integrating. -2 root of cot x, and do we have it in the options? It must be there. That is option B. Okay, so the speciality of the 10th question is that because we had options which differed only in the multiples, okay, 2, -2, 1 by 2 and 1, we decided to differentiate root cot x. Okay, so this is the benefit that you have in multiple choice questions examination. Okay, you can actually get the answer with the help of options given to you. Otherwise it will take you, I don't know how much time by integration, so you can try it as homework. You solve this problem by integration. Do not use the options. Okay, so try it. If you don't get it, let me know. I will share the integration version of the solution.